I am so excited. Right now, I am at a vet, if you can't tell, and I'm here with Dr. Skadron and his dog, Petunia.
That's right.
And because of all of you, we have some questions to ask Dr. Skadron before we get started on reading our last chapter of our awesome book. And I'm excited because I brought Nurse Tessa with us.
Hi.
Because Nurse Tessa is helping students and he is helping animals, and I thought this would work out perfect. And do you want to join us? Is that good? Yes. All right. So Miss Tessa is going to ask you some questions before we get started on our last chapter.
All right. Okay. What is the weirdest animal you have had in your office?
I think hedgehogs are really weird.
Really weird.
And they're so cute, but they're very hard to handle. So I think that you really need gloves in order to handle, and I think that makes kind of a weird pet. Yeah. But people who have them love them, and so they're quiet. They don't bark.
True. We actually have a set of twins at our school that have a hedgehog as a pet at home. Yeah,
I think that's up there with certainly an original thing, and people who have them adore them. So they're really cute when they're not jumping at you to get those spikes into you. They're actually fantastic little pets.
Okay, next question. Biggest animal you've ever helped?
Well, in veterinary school we work on a lot of horses and cows, but I've never worked on an elephant or anything like that, so I'm gonna have to stop it. Unfortunately, those big Budweiser horses are probably the Clydesdales.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. Have you ever helped a skunk?
Yes.
The reason that Dr. Tom, that question's in here is our character has a skunk pet. So we had to ask that question. So tell us about this experience.
It's actually, it was a newspaper article with my dad helping a skunk. This was my dad's office.
Okay.
Yeah, before me. And in general, we tend to stay away from helping the skunks because they blast that smell. And most of them are wild. But some people at the nature center, the Dodges themselves, have actually brought over skunks that have little skunks that have been, and they're adorable. They're actually really cute, but we worry about rabies. So.
Yes.
Okay, what is the smallest animal you've ever helped?
I'm trying to think if there's anything smaller than a mouse. But I've done surgery on mice, and that is kind of, it's really, you almost need magnification. Mice are really, really little. And we have some little tiny birds, that are about the same size, maybe even way less, but a little fluffier.
Do you treat fish?
No, there isn't too much. I mean, when it comes to treating fish, there are veterinarians that are really into treating fish. Wow. And they even can anesthetize them and do surgery on them. It's an unusual specialty, but I know a couple veterinarians that are really good at it and really into fish. But I, in general, don't. It's mostly a matter of just dumping things in the tank.
Right, and
that sort of treats the water.
These are some good questions for our Somerset students.
Great questions.
Why do you like being a vet?
Well. I mean, look who my patients are. I'm so fortunate, and everybody loves the veterinary office. I can't say, don't tell my brother, but my brother's a dentist, and just the comparison of how people kind of get a little excited to go in and see the other animals, and not that many people are excited about
getting their teeth.
And
brush your teeth, Somerset.
I mean, my brother loves his profession too, but it's a sweet profession that we have, and I love doing surgery, and I love being able to treat the medical diseases and the patients. You want to help them. It's a little bit like being a pediatrician, I think, helping babies because they can't help themselves.
True.
So.
True. And one last question.
Okay.
One last question.
Yes.
Do chickens go to the vet?
Yes. We have some chickens that come in, and people have chickens that are laying eggs in their yard now that they keep them and we see a few chickens, just a few. We have to be careful about, you can't use antibiotics and certain medications on animals that people are using as a food source, but they're becoming more common in our area. People keep them in their
that's
backyard.
neat.
Those are great questions.
Great
Yeah.
question,
Really
Somerset
good.
students.
Yes.
Well, we're
By
gonna.
far the best of all the elementary
Hey,
schools.
look at that. We're in the right place. Well, I know Dr. Tom is very busy. We're going to let him get on his
All right.
way to help animals. Can you leave
Yeah,
your friend
keep
with
Petunia.
us?
Bye,
Petunia,
honey.
okay. And we're
Thank
going
you
to
very
read.
much.
Yes, thank you. And we're going to read the last chapter. So I'm going to shut this. All right, Petunia, you ready? And then, before I forget, when we're all done, I'm going to have Nurse Tessa pick 3 winners for the students that entered their picture with their pet for some Somerset Spirit wear. Tuna, do you want to read? Are you ready? Here we go. It's the last chapter. Super exciting. Tuna's just scoping things out. All right, chapter 26. How to know someone. Here we go. When Saturday came, Bat woke up feeling nervous. What if Israel wanted to hold Thor? Would Bat have let him? What if Israel didn't like the snacks Bat and Mom had decided on, lemonade and crackers and apple slices and cheese? Mom had asked Bat what kinds of food Israel liked and what he liked to do for fun. But Bat didn't have any answers. He hadn't even noticed things like that. Most kids like to play handball at recess, he told her. Well, does Israel? Bat didn't know. But Mom said that it was okay because they didn't have handball anyway. Maybe you boys could plant some of the seedlings, she suggested. Mom had little plastic pots of herbs growing in the sunny kitchen window. And now that it was getting warm, it was time to put them in the garden in the backyard. I don't know if Israel likes to plant things, Bat said. Most kids like to dig in the dirt, Mom said. So when Israel and his dad arrived at 11:30, the first thing that Bat said when he answered the door was, "Do you like to garden?" Israel shrugged. "I guess," he said. "Bat," said Mom behind him, "invite them inside." He was blocking the doorway, but Bat realized he stepped back and said, "Come in." "Thanks," said Israel. His dad said, "Thanks so much for inviting Israel over." "Well, thanks for bringing him," said Mom. "I'm Valerie." "Tom," said Israel's dad. They shook hands. Then he said, "I'm just going to run a few errands. Can I pick him up at 2:00? After Israel's dad left, Bat said, "We have apples and cheese and crackers and lemonade. And Mom says we can plant the seedlings in the garden. And I guess if you want, you can come see my room." "Actually," said Israel, "I was hoping to meet the skunk." Here we go, the skunk. "Oh," said Bat. "Okay." Thor was in his enclosure. He was getting big enough to walk now, but he still wasn't steady on his feet. He seemed to know that when Bat opened the enclosure door, it was something to be excited about, because he woke up and started scooting around. "He's tiny," said Israel. Bat scooped up Thor and held him close. Thor could see now, but not very well. Skunks didn't have very good eyesight. "He's way bigger than he was," Bat said, "and he's got fur. When he was first born, he was almost bald and he couldn't open his eyes or walk or anything." "Can I hold him?" Israel asked, putting out his hands. That sounded like a terrible idea to Bat. "Have you ever held a baby skunk before?" "No," said Israel. "I don't know," said Bat. "You might drop him." "Well, I could sit on the floor," Israel said, and you could hand him to me." Bat wanted to say no, but Mom said, "Bat, honey, you'd never held a skunk kit either before a few weeks ago, but you've never dropped Thor." "I don't know," Bat said again. "Would you promise to be careful?" "Yes," said Israel, "I promise." Bat wanted to be sure that Israel was taking this seriously, that he understood how important this was, being careful with Thor. So he looked straight into Israel's eyes. Maybe he could see something in there, like Mom said, something that would let him know it would be okay to trust Israel. Israel's eyes were light green. They were framed by thick black eyelashes. Their pupils were round and black, just like everybody's pupils. Bat wanted to see something in Israel's eyes, but all he saw were eyes. Then he looked at Israel's hands, the way they were cupped together to form a safe little nest. He saw how Israel had overlapped his palms so that there was no way Thor could slip between them. Bat didn't know much about eyes, but he knew about hands. Mom's hands so strong and sure in when handling animals. Lawrence's hands enormous but gentle anyway. Mr. Grayson's hands with long fingers and interesting rings. Dad's hands with nails clipped short and neat. Janie's hands so clever at Brady. Israel's hands told Bat that Thor would be safe. So Bat placed the kit into them. He didn't even make Israel sit on the floor. Oh, he's so light, said Israel. He's so cute. He's perfect, Bat said. I'm going to learn everything there is to know about caring for skunks. Mom says we can keep Thor until he's old enough to release, and I'm going to become the best skunk caretaker in the world. Israel brought Thor up close to his face and rubbed him against his cheek. Do you think maybe you could teach me some stuff too? He asked. You want to learn about the care and feeding of skunks? Bat asked. Yes, said Israel. Maybe they could plant the seedlings the next time Israel came over. Maybe today they could talk about skunks and research skunks and watch YouTube videos about skunks. Okay, said Bat. Israel handed Thor back to Bat, and Bat put on the sling and tucked Thor inside. He felt the skunk scratch and turn and then settled down to sleep. Well, Bat said, do you want to see my room? Sure, said Israel. So Bat led the way through their little house down the hall and into his room. He opened the door. After you, he said to Israel. Before he followed Israel into the room, Bat turned to see Mom standing by the skunk enclosure. She was smiling, and she lifted her hand in a little wave. She looked happy, and Bat felt happy, really, really happy. He had a warm, sleepy skunk kit in a pouch around his neck, and he had a boy, maybe even a friend, visiting his room, waiting to research skunks with him. Bat didn't know how things would turn out with Thor, and he didn't know how things would turn out with Israel either. But right now, Bat felt as happy as he ever felt in his life. He waved back to his mom and felt his face stretch into a smile, just as wide as hers. And then, with Thor tucked safely into his pouch, Bat went into his room to hang out with his friend. That just gave me goosebumps, right? That is so neat. That is such a neat book. Thank you so much, PTA, for giving these all the students at Somerset. And now it's time for Nurse Tessa to pick 3 students to get Somerset Spirit Wear. Here we go. Here we go. Our first one.
Scarlett Z.
Vincent Avila's parents. So Scarlett Z, congratulations. Woo! Okay, we got 2 more. You think there's treats in here? There's not.
Next one is Ellie.
Ellie, Christina.
Mom is
so Ellie Young.
Young.
Mom is Christina. All right, friends.
Last one.
Dun, dun, dun.
Christian Geberling.
Yeah, I think so. Samantha's mom, Christian. Yeah.
Woo!
So PTA will be reaching out to you to get you your spirit wear. All right, Somerset friends, I'm so excited to talk about this book tomorrow. And thank you for watching and thank you for listening. Can we wave bye?
Petunia just got a haircut.
Yes. Petunia, look. Say bye. Bye, Petunia. Bye, friends. See you tomorrow.
Bye.